Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the vlog. Today, I'm going to teach you guys how to speak reptile. What I basically mean is you may hear some common terms that I kind of throw out where you're like, what is he speaking a different language? So I'm going to kind of go through some terms today and teach you what they actually mean. You know, the most common terms that you will hear from a person that's speaking about reptiles. Let's go ahead and start with herpetology. I'm ready here to put your knowledge to the test. You ready?
I don't know. Herpetology. It's the study of herpes.
Herpetology is the study of reptiles and I'm just gonna make this one up. The study of reptiles in their environment.
Hey Zoe, what's going on? I got a couple questions for you. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just ask you instead, okay?
Okay.
What is herpetology?
The study of reptiles.
Although the majority of the crew got herpetology as far as the study of reptiles, the truth is it's actually the study of reptiles and amphibians. These Suriname marine toads are absolutely amazing. And another word that, I'll be honest with you, I don't use that much, but I thought I would include it, is the word squamata. Eric, you know, would you consider yourself a pretty smart person?
Pretty smart guy. I mean, I'm working for you,
Okay,
right?
yeah, exactly.
So,
What could possibly go wrong with that?
a squamata? I think that's a type of ape in Southeast Asia, and it's like a live.
What is a squamata?
That's a species, but I don't remember what.
Actually, squamata is the order of reptiles, amphibians. So basically all snakes, lizards, and amphibians, like this guy, Al, the big marine toad. What does sexually dimorphic mean? Noah, I got a couple questions for you. You ready?
Sexually dimorphic, if I had to guess, that would probably be an animal that can produce fertile eggs by itself.
Two different sexes are different. Well, you can tell the gender differently.
It means it can be either a male or a female.
Difference in like size or something that differentiates the different sexes, male versus female.
Sexually dimorphic.
You're asking me? Yeah, that's like, it's hard to explain. I know what it is. But it's like when, sexually dimorphic, I've never really, hold on a second. No, I know we are out of time over here. It's like when is it like a, like when they do it, and then their babies are more likely to be male or female.
Sandboars are a perfect example of sexual dimorphism. It can be size, it can be color, whatever the case be. The fact is, these two are the exact same age. This is a male, this is a female. They're sexually dimorphic. The male only gets about half or less than half the size of a female. You could have the same thing with different colors. Sometimes you'll have a green male and a blue female or something like that. That's what sexually dimorphic means. Polygenic. This is a coral, or what they would call a salmon snowcorn, and it's an absolute ripper. And basically a polygenic animal is something that is bred for a particular color phase that isn't recessive or codominant, but you're just basically breeding for like higher pink. So over generations, you breed the highest pink animal to the highest pink animal, and every generation it gets a little bit more pink. And if you get 5, 6, 7 generations in, that best pink animals, they get unbelievably fluorescent pink like this. So it's just a bred trait for a specific phenotype. Certainly a word that's a little bit harder to describe is cloaca.
Cloaca is their hole. They're all-encompassing.
It's like the butthole.
Oh, that's a butthole.
Same thing your mom said.
Cloaca is the, for lack of a better way of putting it, biologically speaking, it's the downstairs area.
Cloaca is right there, where basically there is a vent right by there, and that is the cloaca of a snake. Another term I talk a lot about when I talk about genetics of snakes is codominance. So basically, much like the recessive mutation, it's an inherent gene. The difference is when you breed a banana or any codominant animal to a normal, half the babies on average will come out looking exactly like the dad or the mom, in this case a banana. But when you breed two bananas together, you get 1 in 4 on average will be a super banana. So that's what codominant means. So what is dystocia?
Oh, I think that's like, my grandma had it, and they like can't remember and stuff, you know.
That one
You may remember a couple years ago I had a Honduran milk snake that was egg bound, and we actually were able to get it out. We did a couple this year as well. It's kind of part of breeding colubrid snakes. Well, actually egg bounding, the technical term is called dystocia. So what is recessive? I talk about recessive all the time when I talk about mutations like pieballs. Basically what it is, it's a color mutation, a paint job that is inherent that can be bred. But when you breed it to a normal, you'll get all normal offspring, and when you bring those normals back to that color mutation, you'll get more of the piebald or whatever the recessive mutation is. So it's basically just a recessive gene. And right with recessive would be heterozygous. Basically, the heterozygous are the normal offspring of a recessive mutation. Remember when I said honey bred to a normal would produce heterozygous animals? This is a normal-looking ball python, but it could be carrying the trait for piebaldism. If it did, it would be called heterozygous. How about the word diurnal? Jessica, I'm going to put your knowledge to the test, okay?
Okay. Diurnal, either the animal's gonna be, or they're awake during the day. Sorry. They're awake during the day.
And basically, everyone kind of knows what the word nocturnal is, and that's animals that stay awake at night. Of course, diurnal animals are awake in the day. Oftentimes with like Flamin' Hot Cheeto here, you can see a diurnal animal will have a round pupil, whereas a nocturnal animal will have cat slit eye pupils. Neonate, what does that mean?
Neonate. Neonatal is a baby. It's a baby snake.
I've heard that before. A neonate? Can I have a context clue?
We have a clutch of neonates.
Neonates. Huh. Is that, are those Germans?
Neonate.
Baby.
A neonate is just a baby reptile. You know, this is a baby super lorry ball. That's an absolute ripper. And neonate is just a fancy word to say a baby. What's a phenotype?
Phenotype? That is, phenotype? I think that's a female, a snake's female sex organ. The phenotype.
Phenotype, isn't that where it shows within the genes, like visual, like aspects of what the thing is?
I'm so bad at explaining, Brian. Why are you over here asking me questions? I know what a phenotype is, but I don't know how to explain it really well.
So basically, a phenotype is a super fancy word for basically a paint job, right? What we have here is a pastel vanilla, a pied, and a bamboo, all amazing animals, all ball pythons. But these are phenotypically different from one another because they look different from one another. So basically, the phenotype is a bamboo, a pied, or a pastel vanilla. Just basically fancy way to say they look different. So we've talked about recessive mutations and phenotypes and all that type of stuff. But oftentimes when I'm talking about things, I'll say that something is on an allele. Now, an allele is actually part of a chromosome, and it's basically an alternative form of a gene causing a hereditary variance in the color or pattern of an animal.
It is produced by the modial interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive directance.
How about the word parthenogenesis?
Parthenogenesis. That's what happens when you go to the wineries and they have a bunch of different choices and like you're mixing the reds and the whites and stuff. It's parthenogenesis.
That is such a lie.
An animal that can produce fertile eggs by itself.
Parthenogenesis is when they clone themselves.
Parthenogenesis is when a female animal has a egg that is fertile but doesn't have a male involvement whatsoever.
You guys remember the morning geckos I have here? And these two little eggs that are on top of the lid, these are actually what they call parthenogenesis. With morning geckos, there are no males, they're all females, so basically they're little clones of one another. So parthenogenesis just basically means when you have fertile offspring from a female that doesn't have a male that actually fertilized the clutch or litter. I use the word colubrid a lot, obviously when I'm explaining collecting colubrid eggs, so I like that. Colubrid is just a family of snakes. It comprises of a bunch of different types of snakes, including corn snakes, king snakes, rat snakes, milk snakes, some mildly venomous snakes. It's kind of like the same thing like boas are a family of snakes, and also vipers are a family of snakes. Another pretty funny one is hemipene.
A hemipenis or hemipene?
Hemipene or hemipenis. Same thing.
Well, it's a snake penis.
Okay, good.
Why do I have to explain that?
The reproductive organ for a snake.
Oh, okay.
A hemipene, I think, how do I say that? I think it's like a snake's penile organ, a snake's penis.
How many do they have?
I think they have two of them.
So obviously a hemipene is just the male sex organ. They actually have two of them. Since we know what a neonate is, what does progeny mean?
Progeny? Maybe that's like a different term for like a snake stuck in a shell.
Like a child or offspring.
I think that's when you have intercourse out of wedlock. It's no, I really don't know.
Progeny and neonates are pretty similar, to be honest with you. Neonates are babies, and progeny are actually the offspring of a female. These two are actually siblings, and this one is super angry for some reason, and these are the progeny of a black pastel female. What is a Jacobson's organ?
Jacobson's organ. That is what snakes have, and that's when they smell, it goes into that, and that's how they figure out their surroundings.
Jacobson's organ is the organ that most animals, like snakes, use to basically collect scent molecules in the air and define that in their brain as smell.
Oh, this is what they flick their tongue out and then bring back in to taste it, smell it. Yeah.
And the crew really got it right on this one. A Jacobson's organ is an organ that is used that once they put that tongue out, they suck up all those particles with those split tongue. They bring them back. The Jacobson's organ basically process it, and that's how snakes smell and taste the air. What about gravid?
It means they're pregnant.
Oh, it's just pregnant, but in reptile terms.
Gravid basically is, again, another fancy word for pregnant. When a snake or a reptile is pregnant, we call it gravid. How about ova?
Ova. I hope it's the same as a human. It's like female reproductive. Or is it an egg? Is it like the little...
I don't know, is it?
Damn it.
What is an ova? And by the way, what's on your elbow? What is that? What's on your elbow right there?
What is that? I don't know.
Did you get bit?
No, I don't know. I might have fell down or so. I really don't know. If I'm not smart enough to know when I hurt myself, how am I going to answer these questions? What was
an ova?
An ova? Dude, I think is something called an oviduct.
Yes, there
okay.
is. So what would an ova be?
An ova? Is it like, it's something to do with like, I don't know, man. I've heard of oviduct. It's something like with air or something.
Andrea wasn't too far off, to be totally honest with you. Ova is basically an infertile ovum that comes from a reptile. So basically, when they have live young, like this viper boa had those live young, she also had a handful of ova, which were infertile. They're kind of like, again, just kind of fleshy masses. Think of it as an egg that was supposed to be a live baby. Temperature sex determinant. It basically means that when an egg is incubated at a certain temperature, it determines the sex. Most of the time, it means lower temperatures mean females, like my alligator saltair, and higher temperatures would mean male. And not all reptiles are temperature sex determinant, but alligators, leopard geckos, a bunch of other lizards actually are. How about the word ectothermic?
Ectothermic. Is that where they regulate their clutch? They exothermic?
What?
Damn it!
Ectothermic. I know this one because it's from Ghostbusters, right?
That's ectoplasm. That's ectoplasm. Not ectothermic. Ectothermic is just basically animals that don't have the ability to regulate their temperature, right? Now that doesn't mean an animal that doesn't go to the heat to heat up or go to the cool to cool down. I'm talking about humans aren't ectothermic because we keep our blood temperature at a certain temperature. With reptiles, they actually need other things to regulate their temperature. So any animal that can't self-regulate is called ectothermic. So ectothermic animals will actually do what they call thermal regulate. You can see with these baby frillies right here, we have a hot spot with a level that they can get really close to it right here so that they can get really hot, or they can go all the way to the cool side of the cage, which is about a 10-degree difference. So that basically means they can thermal regulate by going to the cool side to the hot side and basically adjust their temperature of their body. So what is the epidermis? Epidermis.
Epidermis is the skin.
Epidermis. That's part of the skin. Dermis is skin.
Basically, the epidermis is the outer layer of dead skin on a snake, and that's why they actually shed. As what happens is, you can see with Tiger Lily, she's going opaque, or what they call in the blue. That's a shed cycle, right? Well, that epidermis layer can only stretch so far with the snake. It's not like human skin that's elastic. It'll grow so far, and then when it gets to its maximum length, it actually goes through a shed cycle and sheds that epidermis off, and then the middle layer becomes the epidermis and actually dies off, and this cycle repeats and repeats. And now I'm going to throw a second one right in a row at you guys. It's actually called indices. Indices is actually the process of shedding skin for a snake. So again, it's just a technical way of saying a snake is shedding. I know, it's crazy, these humans. Oh, hey guys, so I hope that I taught you guys a little bit about how to speak reptile, like me and Perdita is here. Let me know in the comments what you guys learned, what ones you actually knew a little bit about, and stuff like that. I hope you enjoyed it. As for now, I'm going to end it, and go ahead and click on this video right here if you enjoyed that. Here's an entire playlist of me feeding a bunch of snakes, actually. Over here, you can hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, can you turn on those post notifications? Remember to have an absolutely wonderful day. You better be kind of sewing, and I promise I'll see you guys tomorrow.